Today's video is sponsored by Now We're Cooking.
For those of you that have been watching for a while, you know I've complained about my Samsung range. Mostly about the radiant heat electric stovetop. And this particular model has almost no control. It's either hot or hotter. I've burned so many things with it, it's so incredibly frustrating. I mean, you turn it on low and it is still blasting hot. Also, even though it feels hotter than the sun when you're cooking, it takes a long time to get that water or oil up to temp, which to me, that's wasted time and wasted energy. I'm all about saving energy. It's why I have an electric car and most of the lights in my house are smart LEDs. Now, along with it taking a while to get up to temp, that means it's heating longer, which means that heat energy dissipates into my already hot Florida kitchen, making it even hotter. And I hate cooking in a hot Florida kitchen, and it's hot. It's really hot. Ugh, I hate filming when I'm sweaty. So I think it's finally time I made the switch I've been wanting to for a while. I'm gonna ditch this thing. So originally, I was just looking at upgrading to a better electric radiant heat range. There's a lot of really nice ones out there. It's just my specific model I'm not a fan of. But I'm all about efficiency, and I wanted to do my homework, and that's kind of where this video landed, was I wanted to share that homework with you. Then I checked out gas stoves. It kind of solves the control problem. You can go instantly from high to low, and I mean, I'll be honest, the flames look really cool on camera. As a chefy foodie, always seeing the flames on cooking shows is something that I inspired for. And that's about it for the pros when it comes to a gas stove. I don't have gas at my house, so I'd have to add a gas line. It takes just as long as electric radiant heat does to heat up your food. It doesn't solve the house heating problem. My kitchen is still gonna be really hot. The efficiency is really bad and it's not great for your health. Gas can fill your house with formaldehyde, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and particulate matter, which can build up in your body. So you know what? Gas is out of the question. I'm not gonna do gas. So the third option is also electric, but electric in a different way. It's more efficient, faster, more control, and uses science to cook, which I love that. As Adam Ragusa said, you're cooking with magnets. Induction cooking. Induction cooking is direct heating using electromagnetic waves, meaning you're directly heating the pans versus heating the surface under the pans. Right off the bat, you can find that induction is able to deliver between 80 and 90% of its electromagnetic energy to the food in the pan. Electric radiant heat is about 70% efficient, so it's still good. Gas only converts around 38% of its energy, which is awful. I had no idea it was that inefficient. Could you imagine if most people in the United States were to switch to induction cooking? That extra 10 to 40% savings in energy efficiency would be huge. The energy wasted in the US would drop significantly. Also, a new Stanford-led study reveals that the methane leaking from natural gas burning stoves inside US homes has a climate impact comparable to the carbon dioxide emissions from about 500,000 gasoline-powered cars. That's unbelievable. I never would have even considered gas if I would have known that. Induction is able to be super efficient because you're not heating an element that has to heat the pan that it's sitting on top of. It's directly heating the pan, which is how it heats the food. It's doing that with electromagnetic energy. Because the heating is direct, that means that temperature control is way more precise. But also, that means that the cooktop surface stays relatively cool when you're cooking, so you have less danger of spillover fires, towels landing on the heating element and catching on fire, or burning you or your child's hands. Now, induction cooking has been growing rapidly according to the National Kitchen and Bath Association. It's already popular in a lot of other countries, but it has been tough for Americans to bite, until now or more recently when people are starting to get better information about induction. Even me, I probably wouldn't have even considered induction because I believed a lot of the myths, like induction isn't safe, I would have to replace all my cookware, it's not as powerful as gas, and that induction is a lot more expensive. So, I wanted to break some myths. Compare my current radiant heat electric stovetop to my induction cooktop. Now, right off the bat, I'm gonna say this isn't going to be a fair comparison. The Samsung NE59M4320SS cooktop burners come in at a peak of 3,000 watts. This small induction cooktop is 1,500 watts. When looking at induction ranges, I've been comparing models that are around 3,000 to 3,500 watts on the burner itself. So if my small induction cooktop has any benefits, that just means to me that a full-powered induction stovetop will have a lot more benefits, a lot more savings. There should be some benefit with that 20% efficiency difference. But let's see what difference we can find. First up to test, boiling water and heating the surrounding air. Boiling water takes up a lot of time, and bringing that water to a boil uses a decent amount of electricity electricity. But if induction gets your pot of water to boil just a little faster, you're going to save on time and the electricity used to heat the pot. So the first thing I did was I measured out 4 cups of water, checked the temperature of the water and the temp of the house in the kitchen, about 6 inches away from the burner. I started the heat, set the timer, and waited until we were at a rolling boil of about 212 degrees. Now my little thermometer is about 2 degrees off, so I'm gonna drop this down to 210 degrees. That took exactly 8 minutes on the radiant heat stovetop and exactly 5 minutes and 31 seconds on the induction burner. To me, that is a huge savings. I didn't think it was gonna be that big. And this is half the power. Imagine if I had a full powered induction stovetop. So in theory, it should be double the savings if I go with a 3000 to 3500 watt induction. Correct me in the comments if you believe I'm wrong. And check this out. Boiling water brought the surrounding air temperature up by over 10 degrees. Just sitting right here, it's hot. It's heating up my kitchen. Next to the induction, there was no change in temperature. That's a pretty big savings right there, just on your home cooling bill. Now what about the control precision aspect? You can see when I turn off the heat on the radiant stove, it continues to boil for a few moments afterwards. Yet when I turn off the heat on the induction, it immediately stops. Now what about all my pots and pans? I mean, I got a lot of them. I have a feeling most of these are gonna work on here, but some of them might not. Most modern cookware works with induction. You'll see this pop up a little error message if it doesn't work. So as you can see, most of it worked. Almost all of my cookware is induction ready. These few things right here are not induction ready. 4 items, and it's kind of my older non-stick stuff that I don't use very often. So this is gonna be really easy to replace. Now, Energy Star doesn't rate any electric range, but according to the Department of Energy, it estimates that the energy consumption of a conventional radiant heat stovetop is about 128 kilowatt hours a year and comes in at $15.36. And induction uses around 71 kilowatt hours, coming in at around $8.49. This is annual, so we're not talking about breaking the bank personally, but it is a savings. And if more people switched overall, that would be a pretty big energy savings. Now, when you add in the kitchen cooling costs, like for me in Florida to cool the kitchen every day while I cook, that's gonna start to add up to a little bit more savings too. Now overall, the average induction range comes in at about $300 more compared to your radiant heat range, which is more, but personally with all of the other benefits, I feel like this additional cost is kind of like a no-brainer. I don't know, that's just me. So I'm getting an induction range. I almost bought one this weekend, but I thought I might as well put this video out and ask for your help. The one real bummer about shopping for ranges is you don't get to try them in the stores most of the time, and you just have to trust everyone's reviews. But I would rather trust your reviews. So if you cook with an induction stovetop and you have like the full range, because that's what I have to replace, let me know which one you're using and if you recommend it or not, and why.
Thanks to Now We're Cooking for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in the description below for more information.